Hey everyone. Let's see. Let me open chat on the side here. Just getting everything set up right now. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, Patrice. How are you? So, today's stream is probably going to be a shorter one. Kind of feeling a bit under the weather. So, what I'm just going to do on my end is I'm going to go through some quick product updates, and then afterwards, just do Q&A. And from there, what we can do is just wrap it up, and then, yeah, we'll have a lovely Thursday evening. But yeah, let me adjust that. Okay. Let me open this up. Just wait a couple more minutes until everyone kind of comes in. And then, yeah, we'll just quickly go over it. So, yeah. Today's update is going to be somewhat shorter. Some cool use cases, but we're working on a lot more interesting stuff. Dazzle us again. Oh man, it's gonna be hard to constantly try beat the previous ones, but team always manages to do it somehow. So let's see, just doing a mic check, everything. Ah, thank you guys. Yeah, this is the one thing about like winter. It's like everyone kind of gets sick and stuff. So, oh, thank you. Yeah. So hopefully I'm not sick. I just kind of feel it in my body, so I'm like, damn it. But yeah, probably get going in like a minute or two, and then yeah, get you guys' questions ready. Just gonna zoom through some of these updates, and then afterwards go into questions, and then yeah, okay, yeah. How's everyone doing? How are you guys feeling? I hope it's not like me, but yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I am going to get started. So let me share my screen. Everyone can see my screen. Let me actually pop you guys over here. That way I can still see what everyone says. Okay. Cool. So let me close these. I have so many windows and tabs open, it's insane. All right. All right. So our first update is you can now assign tasks to AI teams. So kind of starting to extend more of the AI team functionality. So for example, if I go into marketing, create with AI, I'm going to create a go-to market strategy for Taskade. And I'm gonna just add taskade.com as a link here, just to kind of personalize it a bit. And we're gonna press enter. Now it's going to create this for me. And then I can do create project. Now, what you can do is once it creates your project for you, you can bulk select this. And then where it says assign to, I can choose an AI agent or I could choose an AI team. So if I choose AI team, what it will do is it will basically delegate this to whoever thinks is the best approach for this. So, for example, you could see took this and it assigned it to the brand strategist because developing marketing materials makes more sense for the brand strategist to handle. Manage social media channels makes more sense for the social media manager. Handling customer inquiries makes sense for that as well. So, in a sense, now instead of you having to go one and then, okay, do this, no, just have AI handle it for you instead. So, really useful update, especially for projects where you kind of have a process set out. In this case, now you can really define your process and then run it through your AI team. And then your AI team will basically handle all of that for you. So, it's another way of essentially bringing collaboration in for AI and humans. On top of that, the other thing is if you toggle the chat over here, you can actually chat with your AI team now as well. So, oops, yeah, so I can do team chat. Well, wait up, my bad. I meant to switch up on this. So, if I add this over here, so what you can do is now it references your project context. So before, whenever you were chatting with AI agents, it would reference your context, but AI teams didn't have that same context. Now you can open up your project from the side, and then you can change the context to your current project and ask about it specifically in your team. So kind of extending a lot of the functionality there as well. So those are just quality of life improvements for AI teams. Now the other thing is, I'll go back here, close this panel. We have added the ability for if you add knowledge, you can now upload EPUB, PowerPoints, and Excel sheets as well. So I know a lot of people were requesting that. You have a book that you want the AI agent to reference or anything like that. You can upload those. You have a PowerPoint that you wanted to go through. It'll upload those. The only thing is, the only thing is that you actually have to realize that Taskade for now is still limited to text inputs and text outputs. So, yeah, you already have your pitch. You want to refine it a bit, upload it here, ask a few questions about it, and boom. And still moving on the AI agents end, you can chat with them in full screen now. So if I do toggle screen, kind of hides everything else. Small, subtle things that like really improve life in a sense. It's the little things, you know? So yeah, essentially hides all the background stuff, all the noise. You can toggle with full screen. We are looking into actually making this into a more full screen experience, kind of like this. So we're looking into improving that as well. And then now, the other thing about projects, if I open this over here, you can actually embed content from other tools like Canva, Wistia, Figma, Google Docs, and Google Sheets as well. So this is a long request from a lot of people. You have a specific Google Doc that might be for pricing models. Like if you have, if I do embed here, I'm gonna actually throw in one of these right now. Let's do sheets.google.com. I'm just gonna throw in a weekly timesheet. Share. I'm gonna turn this into a public link. Done. I'm gonna copy this. All right. So let's say I have some sort of timesheet, whatever it is. I can do embed and then Google Sheets. Pop that in there. And then now I can open it and then I can actually interact with it and edit it as well. So this is actually a huge thing. Hey, that's me. So this is really helpful because a lot of people use the context switch, used to open it up, have it in another tab, forgot where it was located, whatever it is. Now you can just handle it directly from Taskade. So if I want to change this, I can just change it from here and boom. Same with Google Docs. So if you have Google Docs, you can attach it here as well. Canva. So if you have if you're working with a guest or collaborator, your client, and you have the Canva design that you want them to review, you can just pop it in here. So if I do embed and then Canva, oops, if I do Canva, you can have them look at it, and then afterwards from there, they can change the status as well. So let's say you're in table view. Actually, this is good use case for the social media scheduler, right? You can say waiting for approval, attach the Canva link for the designs. They can look at it. If they like it, push it to approved, and now you know what to do. So you can just handle all of it in Taskade at this point. And then I saw some questions here, so I'm gonna address those as well. Are the hashtags added automatically? I think you're referring to these. Yes. So these hashtags were added automatically by the AI project generator or create with AI option. It'll automatically add these hashtags. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is exactly what I've been waiting for. Yeah, that team functionality is actually really cool. Essentially, you can have your process. You can essentially create a process with AI and then afterwards assign it to a department, and then AI will go and handle it for you. So you are now assigning tasks for AI and it will dedicate it. So glad to see this new team functionality and right on time for an SOP project. Ah, I'd love to hear it. And then let's see here. Does the AI read an embedded docs? No, it doesn't. So what it will do is you can embed it and you can attach it, but it won't actually go into that link and read your like invoice link or any of that stuff. So in the future, possibly, but yeah. And that was pretty much the main improvements that we had, and that was the main updates. I will give some context as to what else we're working on as well. So I'll tell you this. We are also working on some newer pieces. So AI with Microsoft Teams, more improvements with Google Calendar, Google Sheets. I know we got a lot of requests for Google Sheets and agent tools, so we're working on that. Discord is in progress, Facebook pages, and also a WhatsApp integration. And there's a few more stuff regarding webhooks that are going to be coming in the near future as well. But yeah, that was pretty much a general broad overview of some of the features that we've kind of improved and created in the past 2 weeks or week, actually, now that I think about it. The team moves really fast. So I'm going to delete this project. Yeah. I think what I can do at this point is, let's see. Oh, I can't believe I actually overlooked one of the main ones over here. Okay. So this one's actually kind of cool. My bad, guys. So if you have an agent, right? Let's say you have a customer support agent. I'm just going to do one over here. Go to AIAgents, and I'm going to do create agent, and we're going to create a customer support agent that handles inquiries about Taskade. So we're going to generate this agent. There's so many updates, it totally slipped my mind. All right, while it does that, let's see. If you upload the embedded link as knowledge, would it read it through? It may crawl it, but yeah, it would probably crawl it, but I think I would just do like a static thing at that point. I mean, best choice is usually to just turn that into a Taskade project, and then afterwards from there, just interact with it directly. But that's a good question. I'll have to get back to you on that. If anyone else tries that, let me know. But let's see. Okay, so let's say I have my agent right here. Got it. It's perfect. And then afterwards, what I'm going to do is let me see my projects. You know what? I'm going to copy this over. By the way, this was a Easter egg that I found out. If you hold Shift and then click on this, you can actually copy and move projects. This works in the web app because there's a prompt that you have to confirm. But yeah, you can essentially Shift and then right click, copy, move, and delete projects in bulk. So just letting you know. I'm gonna copy this over, move it to my workspace here, go back here. All right. Let's say it has all my knowledge. It's great. Everything it needs to know about Taskade. Cool. All right. I'm gonna train my Taskade support agent. I'm going to give it knowledge. We're going to add that project from before and do add. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna share this. Let's say I want to frontline support using this AI agent. We got our knowledge over here. All right, now we have this agent share link. Someone opens it and they start asking questions. Oops, I hate when it does this. This is my fault, my end, by the way. It's not a Taskade web app issue or anything. I think it's a DNS issue on my personal computer. So it doesn't have to do with Taskade. It has to do with my computer. Just letting you guys know. But let's see. Okay, so I have my AI agent. I'm going to open it over here. And then from here, what I'm going to do is we're going to go to automations. I'm going to add an automation. We'll start from scratch. You have a new public chat ended option over here. So I can have it where it's Taskade support agent. And essentially what it's going to do whenever I have a conversation with this, right? So tell me more about Taskade's AI features. Whenever I have a conversation with this, I'm actually going to open up another tab for my AI agent over here. Now, I just asked it a public, I just asked this public AI agent a question, right? I can see the inbox conversation over here, but there was no way for me to actually reference or do anything with this data. So if I have a whole bunch of people asking questions and interacting with it, I need to be able to reference this data to, right? So what you can now do is you can now actually reference it through this agent public chat ended trigger. So essentially after 5 minutes, so if someone isn't, and that's getting really annoying. If someone isn't talking with this for 5 minutes, this will trigger. And when it triggers, you can have a whole bunch of things happen. So, one example is you can have it send an email. I like to use AI agents in between to actually categorize and understand issues or summarize issues. So, AI agents are great for semantic analysis or any sort of like look at this message, summarize it or categorize it into one of these things or triage it into a specific issue. And then afterwards, send me a summary or snippet or add it to this project. So you can have a whole bunch of projects. Let's say one is for bugs, one is for help centers, one is for whatever. You can have a whole bunch of projects and then afterwards use that information within. So, for example, I can have Ask Agent and then I can have a project manager. I could say based on conversation history, based on conversation history, triage it into one of three categories. And then it could be like one is, I don't know, bug, feature request, general inquiry. This is not how you triage, by the way, but we're not going to talk about that. And then from here, I could just have outputs. So I can have text and I can name these. So I could say bug, feature request, and then general inquiry. And then let's say if I do a branch, I can then say, well, if it's a bug or if it contains something here, then I want you to add it to this project or send it to me or stuff like that. So this use case actually popped up during one of the calls, and what they wanted to use it for, their use case, was essentially they want to be able to take the conversation history, send them an email based on the conversation history with this public agent, and then afterwards see what people are asking questions about. So see what issues people are running into. From there, they use that information and that analysis to improve their help center articles, to improve their guides, to improve the product itself. So seeing how people are interacting and what questions they're asking. And that sort of analysis is really hard to do with like stable chatbots. But with AI agents, it's very easy. It's much easier to do because now an AI agent can actually understand what it's summarizing and it can categorize it properly for you and then also send you that information too. So if you're really trying to improve your help center, you're trying to see what people are complaining about, you can do it as well. You can ask which feature is this regarding and a whole bunch of other use cases with it as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for myself or plan for the updates over here. And let me see. I don't think I missed anything else. I think that's about it on my end. So yeah, we're also working on some really cool stuff. But yeah, you shall see those soon. I won't disclose all of that yet. But yeah, for those of you that joined a bit later, we're working on like Microsoft Teams, Discord, Facebook pages, WhatsApp integration. I could have sworn there was I lose track. We're working on so many things. But yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with the product update side of stuff. I think we could probably just move into Q&A. So I am going to switch over to just answering questions at this point, and I am going to go from chronological order. Okay. Let's see. Haley, is Task OS out? Okay. Not yet. So for those of you that aren't familiar, Taskade at this point has become an agentic framework. You can essentially do a whole bunch of stuff um, using our AI agents, but we're also kind of building into a framework or developer platform that people can use to power their projects in a sense. So if you want to build something similar to Taskade, instead of you trying to figure out all the tech behind like, well, if someone clicks on an AI agent, how do I handle embeddings? How do I handle RAG? Instead of you having to handle all that, essentially we're going to provide you with the developer backend or framework for you to actually build right away. So saving you a lot of time on that. It's a work in progress. It's not out though. Let's stay tuned. And then actually this is a good thing. So definitely if you're interested, you're more technical or you have an AI agent that is more technical, what you can do is you can go to developers.taskade.com and you can essentially you can reference our AI and our API. Forgot a letter there. You can reference our API and you can actually even use a AI agent for this to be honest. So yeah, you can do like IT services and then troubleshooting specialist or any of these. But yeah, you have a software developer, give it the API docs, and then afterwards you'll be able to reference it and use it. So, and we've actually extended a whole bunch of endpoints to our API, so you can do a ton of things with it now. Pretty much like anything that you do within a project, you can do it through an API. I have to scroll back up. Let's see. What are the best automations to kind of synchronize or update Taskade variable with Airtable variables in a base? That's an interesting use case. Best automations to kind of synchronize or update Taskade variable with. What you can do is essentially if I have, let's say, like a project like this, these are not real people, by the way. I mean, I'm pretty sure they exist, just not in the way that they're mentioned here. So if I have a custom field that's updated, I can then send an HTTP request to update it in Airtable as well. So that's one way to do it. Another one is through webhooks. So if I do delete, I can say webhook. If when something happens in Airtable, essentially I can update a custom field. So you'll be able to this is actually something that we're working on where you'll be able to actually find a task within a project and then update that specific task as well. So yeah, you can choose which project. And then afterwards from here, you would just do task ID based on some sort of synchronization. So you would have a custom field with Taskade node here. Oops. I'm gonna go back to my projects over here. So you would have a custom field. So instead of status, it would be one that's like number. I'm actually gonna switch this into table view here. Yeah, one of them would just be like number, and then that would be like some sort of ID for you to reference within a Airtable, and then afterwards you would synchronize the two in that sense. What would be the best way to embed a web page content into Taskade so the AI would have access to it? Oops, I like scrolled way too high. All right. So the AI would have access to it. You can just add it to when you say AI, are you referring to the Taskade AI assistant? Because in that case, like your AI agents, you can actually just add the knowledge to their you can add the link to their knowledge directly. So if you do add link, you can just add a link here and then it'll be able to access it right away. And these links are they're refreshed. So what it does is every hour, I think, it fetches the most recent version. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, he said it. There we go. He man, the community always like gets to these questions before I do. Good practices for differentiating the response of different AI agents in an agent's team. This is more like prompting. And in this case, you would have to, if there's overlap in a lot of their functionality, then it's not as specialized. I like to think of it as like a team of experts. So, like, an accountant doesn't do the same thing as a marketer, and a lawyer doesn't do the same thing as a software developer. So, if you have a whole bunch of people in this agent team, you kind of have to give enough prompts where it's job specific. If multiple people can do it, then I would say make your prompts more specific. They'll make them as broad and vague because then that's when it becomes hard for the AI agents to also give you a more specific answer. If it's general, anyone could answer it. So they'll just give you a general response. I love this app. Just please add more themes, more professional looking. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Let us know what feedback you have as far as like making it more professional. You can definitely do that at taskade.com/feedback. So anyone, if you have any questions, just do it at taskade.com/feedback. We definitely try to answer every single one of those queries. Now, when working with an agent, when you want to turn the chat to a project, it gives three options: create project with AI, and automate with AI. Creating project brings up Markdown import. When trying to import that chat to a new project, it always rewrites the content and not what was in the chat. To a new project, it always rewrites the content and not what was in the chat. It also puts a copy of the markdown in media. When I convert that to a project, it comes as it was in the chat as anyone else. That sounds like a bug. If you can, please reach out to support@taskade.com. If you have a screen recording of that as well, that would be much better because in that case, we're able to try and replicate it. And if we're able to replicate it, then we can troubleshoot it, find the issue, and then afterwards kind of say, hey, this is what was causing it and resolve it. So reach out to support@taskade.com, preferably with a screen recording or a series of steps. So yeah, we'll get you sorted out. And then just the link, it will read the link. I don't know about a Google Doc public link, but essentially I want to capture a web page in its current state to be able to reference it at that point in time. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you can do this in multiple ways. You can chat with it. So actually, let's see if the tool is enabled first. Yeah. So for those of you that didn't see it last week, you can actually disable web search and all that stuff. But yeah, so I can do chat and then afterwards I'm gonna do a new one. And I can say search taskade.com and tell me what it's about. Oops. Crawl HTTPS taskade.com. There we go. So you can just do this if it's just like a one time thing. So yeah, you don't have to put HTTPS or anything like that. I think it just kind of defaulted to thing. Yeah. Query site taskade.com. So yeah, you can if it's just to have it access it at that moment, you can just chat with it directly there, but you can also just add it into its thing. This use case is great. Glad you think so. I think this was referring to the automation use case from earlier. So for those of you that missed it, essentially what you can do is you can now take the information from a public conversation with an AI agent, and then afterwards you can do whatever you want with it. You can convert it into a file, convert it like you can update it in a Google Sheet, send it over. Like you can do a lot with it. Let's see. Do you plan to provide an integration for Go High Level? This is something that we've looked into. Well, we've considered. So if there are specific triggers and actions that you want, it's much easier for us to actually build it out. Um, and this is just across the board, right? So if you want some sort of integration, you say, hey, I don't know, I want to integrate with Go High Level. The first question we're going to say, like, what do you mean by integration? Like, what are you looking for? Is it like we need a trigger? So, for example, in Gmail, you have the new email trigger, and you can also send and create draft emails as well as actions. So, with Go High Level, it's essentially what triggers are you looking for and what actions are you looking for. From there, it's much easier for us to actually build these integrations because then we have actionables. So, I guess a similar setup in this case is HubSpot. For example, we have the new deal, new contact, or deal stage reached, and then we can also update that information as well. So there's corresponding actions with HubSpot. So create new contact, create new deal, and then yeah. So you guys can see already some of these coming soons. But yeah, definitely add more information here. Let me see if I could actually find it for you right now. I'm gonna get you the actual link to the feature request. Yes, I got you. Okay. Add that link. Add your requests here. If you guys have any specific requirements for Go High Level, definitely add it to that post. And yes, infrastructure as a service. Cool. Yeah. It's like AI infrastructure as a service. You won't have to worry about like vector databases, embeddings, all of that stuff. Context window, like we handle all of that for you. Human in the loop automation, we already handle that for like even the frame. It's more of a framework for how you approach AI as well. So sounds good, mate. I'm glad. Yes, I'm happy I could help. Will do. Awesome. Okay, let's see. I want to automate content survey management, and the inputs can be text, video, images, links. How can I automate this and have automated content creation with the inputs? So we only process text-based content for now. This is it doesn't this is like essentially moving more towards multimodal. We've had multiple conversations about this actually. Uh, Essentially, what you want to do is you want to put in not only text, but you might want to do, I don't know, audio. You might want to take images or videos. You want to upload all that into like an AI agent's knowledge, and then afterwards have the AI agent not only generate text, but also be able to generate audio, generate video, generate images. This is a lot more, the back end side of stuff isn't that hard. Actually, I shouldn't say it's not that hard. I'm not an engineer, so what do I know? But there's a lot of like nuances and complexities with it. But right now, you wouldn't be able to do this. In the near future, you will potentially be able to do this because we're seeing a lot of these AI models going towards multimodality. So yeah, uh, yeah, I wish I could like kind of help more with that use case. I think it's a cool use case, but it's not something that we can do right now. If I'm a Taskade Pro user, can I use the Taskade API resources to learn what custom applications I can do? Yes, you can. So you can access the API by going to developers.taskade.com, and here we go, developers.taskade.com. So anyone that goes here, if you visit that link, you'll be able to access it. We show you how to authenticate, and then there's all the different endpoints and documentation for it. Which is the best format to import a project into Taskade, from an Excel file or coming from other AI tools in general? Mm, Usually Markdown works really well, since it's more text based and it is in line with formatting. But you can also, if you're using, let's say, like LangChain, we actually have a loader for Taskade projects. But yeah, usually Markdown. If it's in Excel, it kind of has to be like column based. So you can actually import from these areas too. So if I go back to projects, I can do import. You can convert to Taskade from here. So just take your project, throw it in here. It's if it's your Excel file, whatever it is, and then afterwards you can have Taskade handle that for you. But yeah, okay. I think that's pretty much all the questions. Let me see. If I missed your question, it wasn't intentional, unless it was. No, but no, it wasn't intentional. I just scrolled through it probably. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I don't receive any more questions, okay, let's see. Are you thinking adding any dashboard with KPIs, any type of interface for clients to interact with your projects? I think it depends on KPIs and dashboards. We've discussed kind of having like this master view or kind of like a dashboard within workspaces. So that way you can essentially see, like, kind of get an overview of what's happening in your workspace and like see, are you on track? What tasks are due? Like all that stuff. We've had conversations about that, but I think this, when someone says dashboard, it can mean a whole bunch of things. It can mean like, okay, kind of like seeing what's happening where you have this many tasks due, or it can be something like I want to generate like custom reports and intervals. Like it can get really complicated real quick. But it's not something that like, it's something that we've discussed. But again, it depends on what you mean by any type of interface for clients to interact with your projects. One thing that you can do, so if you have multiple projects, you can do, let's say if I have, I want to add, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to do create with AI and then create a checklist for handling sales leads. So let's say I have this. I'm gonna create this project, and actually, I'm just going to duplicate this. And let's say it's like go to market strategy, and I'm going to add a couple other stuff. Well, what I can then do, and I've shown this to a couple other people as well, I can start from scratch, do new list, and you can have a master project, and I can do at, and I can link the other projects. Oops. So you can kind of treat this like a milestone in a sense. And then from here, if any of these are completed, then what I can do is I could say, okay, this is completed, mark it off over here. You can share this with your client, and your client can essentially see, okay, yeah, we're on track with this or whatever it is. If you do all this, it will complete it for them as well. So let's see. Hey, is there any way to change the Taskade website theme? For example, make it more black or white or other, basically to get away from the multicolors. This would be great for some projects. There are ways that you can, let's see, website theme. I think it depends on what you mean. Uh, there are ways that you can customize stuff. So, oops, if I go here, project settings, I can do no background, and then like kind of simplifies a lot of this. But yeah, these colors themselves, you can change it based on your workspace. So if I do edit, I can choose a specific color to make it more professional. I can even remove an icon if I don't want it. And then, yeah, like we do have some sorts of customizability. You can also change it. So appearance, you can make it light theme. For all the people that were watching this at night, my bad, I just like blinded you guys. But yeah, so dark theme, yeah, so that's kind of how you can customize it a bit, but I think if you have specific things that you would want to customize, let us know at taskade.com/feedback. And we usually take those into account. I will say this, one last thing that I'll mention here. We're actually looking into improving our UI. So we're kind of fiddling a bit with some of the sidebars and stuff and trying to see how we can make it even easier and more intuitive to use. I know that's been a long time coming for a lot of people, but yeah, a lot of moving parts there. And so far, I like some of the stuff that we've kind of gotten. But yeah, let's see. What's up, man? Damn, I just got home from a big win today. I secured a digital marketing client of a chain of toy stores in my area for 7K. That's amazing, man. That's awesome. That's amazing news. Yeah, see what's possible with Taskade, you guys. Time to rewatch the live. Thanks, Norman, for being the face of Taskade. You the goat. Of course, you guys. I'm always here to help. If you're part of the communities, yeah, congrats. See, community supporting each other. So thanks so much. Anyone here on Discord to network? Yeah, exactly. If you community is pretty active. Facebook, Reddit, Discord. I'm active in all of those as well. So if you have any questions, I usually try to help out as much as I can. Sometimes some of the questions are like very interesting specific use cases. So that's definitely interesting to see because I'm like, I didn't even know you could use a product like this. But yeah, super flexible, super powerful. So yeah, if you're not part of our communities, um, go here, taskade.com/community. Oops. Oops. I meant to do this. So taskade.com/community. Join here. You'll have the links to everywhere. Telegram, we even have a community there. And yeah, they're growing pretty quickly too. So it's good to see a lot of participation there. That is great. Thank you. We'll try those settings. Thank you. And then also, is there a trick to edit documents into Taskade so they present as a traditional document like Google Docs view instead of a project view? Just curious. Thanks, Narek. The way I usually handle this is if I have a project, I literally I'll just kind of do the same thing that I did earlier. So project settings, if it's similar to Google Docs, I'll just do no background. Or if I'm doing a banner or anything like that, or super simple, I can just do colors. We'll do pink. Um, yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. I would just treat this, and then afterwards, like from here, you can just do paragraph, and then just type away. And that's how I usually go about writing use cases specifically in Taskade. But yeah, okay, guys. I think that's about it on my end. I am going to stop sharing here. If you guys have any questions, can you show some automations good for content creation? Oh man, I'll do one last one just for you because I couldn't support your use case earlier, so I'm gonna do it for you. So I'll go back here. One thing that you can do is we are going to do automations. You can take a RSS feed, for example. If there's a new item in RSS, you can share it on to LinkedIn, or you can create a Twitter thread with it as well. The other thing is automations for content creation. You can literally have start from scratch. I can have it where if I schedule it for every hour or every day, I can have agents work with each other in a sense. So, for example, I can have Ask Agent, and then I can have an ideal customer persona because usually when you're creating content, you have an ideal customer persona and it's just going to generate something. This is where I would put my prompt and then I would have it generate an output as well. And then from here, you can then take that same result from that agent's generation and you can ask agent and you can provide it to, let's say, your social media manager or your marketer and have them essentially take the result from your ask agent, which was your small business owner. And then afterwards, keep doing that for every single thing. And then you can have it create a draft for you in what's it called? WordPress. It could even create a document for you here too. But yeah, it could create a post. Usually, the way people do this is actually with two automations. So you can do add automation. We'll have this actually. Go back here. They have one automation where it's scheduled every day. You have an agent generate blog titles for you. So once it generates blog titles for you, do create with AI, create a list of blog articles, titles for Taskade. Add to knowledge. So you usually have a list of blog article titles. You can have an AI agent generate this for you through an automation on a daily, and then you just go through and you just essentially review it and see if you like it. And you can do this with an RSS as well. So you can summarize information from multiple sources and have it added to your agent's knowledge. So it's constantly refreshed. But anyway, you'd have these. You can turn these into a table and then you can add something like a status. And from here, you could say in progress or whatever it is. And when you do that, you're going to do automate. And then what you'll do is you'll take this information and you'll actually then run through that process of asking an agent. Let's say it's your, I mean, you would have an agent over here that would, let's say, be your blog writer, and it would just take the task content, which is the title, and you would say, like, generate a blog based on this. So, generate a blog based on this. And then you could pass it over to your proofreader or whoever is your expert, and they can expand on it. Essentially, you can just add multiple agent steps here. And then at the end, once you're done with all that, you can create a post, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Twitter or X, whether it's on WordPress, or you can just create a Google Doc. Some people like to store their content that they generate on in a separate area. Especially if you're working with a lot of client interactions, you sometimes use Google Drive, so you can just create a document within a specific folder, and then afterwards, your client can then access it, and you can work back and forth with that. So yeah, that's just one example. There's a whole bunch of like content creation use cases. I could probably just do a whole honestly, now that I think about it, I could actually just do a whole segment on just content creation. Maybe I'll do that for next week. Let's see. Would love to see the content example too. Yeah, maybe I could just do like a whole segment of just talking about how you can use it for content creation because you can do a lot with Taskade actually, especially for content creation, which is more text focused too. You'll be able to do a ton of stuff. So yeah, this was just one use case. I hope it kind of gave you a lot of ideas with what to do. I did have a video a while back on our YouTube channel called Automate Content Creation. It's a walkthrough tutorial. You can watch that. It is somewhat dated as far as like the UI because we made a whole bunch of changes and we have way more features now. But essentially, you can watch that and it will give you at least a good foundation for understanding where to go with some of these things. Yes, please. Okay, I'll look into it. I'll try to see what I could come up with. But yeah, that's all on my end. Let's see. I would love to have it take a LinkedIn article or blog post and then chop it into an X thread. Yeah. Yeah, I think it should be doable depending on where your source is from. So, but I'll look into that. And then if you guys have use cases like this, definitely add them to here. So add it to taskade.com/feedback or chime into any of the communities, taskade.com/community. Chime into any one of these, post it. If I don't answer, which is pretty rare. If I don't answer, someone else will. And yeah, we'll get you taken care of. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna head off, you guys. Try to get some rest. Um, have a great weekend. Watch these live streams if you missed it. Share it with someone if they missed it. Um, honestly, it doesn't even matter. Just share it with them. Next time they say hi, just send them a link to this live stream and just go, shh, you got this. Anyway, so yeah, yeah. Peace out and have a great day, you guys.